All right, what's up, everybody? We're back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one. The first video of 2024. Man, we're here. We're back. Hope you guys had a happy new year. Hope you guys 2024 is successful and great. I hope it is. We'll see what happens, but yeah, very excited for this year. But today we're going to get into our power rankings. I did one last month. I'm starting to do it every month. We go to power rankings. I did one for December. If you missed that, you can go back and check that out. But now we're doing January power rankings going into January, going into 2024, seeing where all these teams stand. Thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the content around here, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications, all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. We live a lot. We're on the road to 400 or 500. Subscribers. So if you enjoyed the content, hit the subscribe button. I really appreciate it a whole lot. And yeah, don't waste any more of your time. Let's get right into it. So before we get fully into it, I'm just to say these are my personal power rankings, personal list. I didn't take it from anybody or anything like that. If you disagree, let me know. Where your favorite team is ranked. If you like it, you don't like it, whatever. Let me know in the comments. Really like to read where you guys think your team is or what other teams are at this point in the season. But yeah, we're getting right into it. Starting at the 30th and the worst team in the NBA, the Detroit Pistons. They're currently 3-30. The worst record in the NBA, 15th in the Eastern Conference, obviously. They have the 28th ranked offense, the 26th ranked defense, and 20th in net rating, and they stay the same position from the last power ranking video. Some team stats that they have. They can't shoot threes. They're 29th in three-pointers made, 30th in three-point attempts, 20th in three-point percentage. So they're a bad three-point shooting team. They're 30th in turnovers per game, so they turn the ball over a lot. They're 30th in steals, 27th in effective field percentage, last in the league in points off turnovers. So yeah, they're not good. Then defensively, they're last in opponent points off turnovers, so they score the least amount of points off turnovers, and they give up the most amount of points off turnovers. They're second in opponent three-point attempts, which is good. They guard the three, but they don't got the free throw. They foul a lot. They're first in fouls per game. They're 30th in free throw attempts, 29th in opponent free throws made, 30th in opponent free throw attempts, 4th in opponent offensive rebounds, 29th opponent turnovers, so they don't force turnovers, 30th in opponent steals, so they're last in steals and last in giving up and getting steals, and last in giving up steals. Yeah, they suck. That's really what it is. They're bad. They were on a 28-game losing streak for a while. Not anymore, though. Congrats. They did get the win over there in Toronto, but they did lose last night to the Rockets to start the 2024 season, or 2024 year. But yeah, they're very bad. Cade Cunningham, though, has shown some things. He's averaging 23, 4, and 7 with a steal. He's shooting 44% from the field, 33% from 3. Bojan Bogdanovic is back. He's averaging 19 and 3 on 37% shooting from 3. In his 14 games, Jaden Ivey's been solid. Jalen Duren has been in the lineup, but when he's in there, he's averaging 13 and 12 with a block per game. But yeah, this team is still bad. Trades probably going to be made. They said they're targeting some guys like Tobias Harris and upcoming free agents, which, why? I don't know. You don't even have valuable guys on your team to trade unless you want to trade Bojan Bogdanovic. But they already came out and said they're probably not. They don't really want to trade him. Isaiah Stewart's been a guy on the market that maybe they've been entertaining. He probably will be on a new team, which would be cool to see because I think he's a very solid player. And I think the Pistons just have they have spacing issues. And Isaiah Stewart doesn't help that. Even though he's become a three-point shooter, he shoots 39%. He's actually the best, well, besides Marcus Sasser, he's the best three-point shooting guy on the team in terms of percentage. But, yeah, this Pistons team is bad. We all know they're bad. And, yeah, they're probably going to finish with the worst record. How many games are they going to win in the year? Let me know in the comments. Predict. How many games do you think the Detroit Pistons are going to win this season? Because it's not going to be a lot. At 29, we have the San Antonio Spurs. They're 5-27. They're last in the Western Conference. They have the 29th offense, the 25th defense. They're last in net rating. They dropped one spot from last power ranking video. The Spurs, they're not a good team either. They were on a long losing streak as well. Then they won a game. They lost a couple games, won again. So far, right now, they're 5-27. Got team stats. Offensively, they're not good. They're second to last offense. They're 25th in points per game. Even though they take a lot of shots, they're 4th in field goal attempts, but they just are not efficient. They're 27th in field goal percentage, 27th in three-point percentage, and it doesn't help that they don't get easy ones as well. They're 29th in free throws made, and they attempt the least amount of free throws per game. They're 4th in assists because they kind of have to be because their system, and they don't have a lot of players that can go one-on-one and get their own, but they're also 27th in turnovers. So they're good in they have a lot of assists, but they turn the ball over a lot. They're 3rd in pace, so they play fast. They're also 27th in true shooting percentage, and defensively it doesn't get much better. They're 27th in opponent field goals made, 28th in opponent field goal attempts. They give up the most three-pointers. They're 30th in opponent three-pointers made, 29th in opponent three-point percentage, 29th in opponent defensive rebounds, which is crazy. We have a 7'4" center. You give up the second most defensive rebounds, 29th in total offensive opponent rebounds per game, 28th in opponent steals. They're third in opponent blocks, so they don't get blocked a lot. They're 28th in opponent points per game. So yeah, they're just not a good team at the end of the day as well. Victor Wembanyama's obviously shown some things so far. He's averaging 19 and 10 with 3 assists, a steal, and leads the league with 3 blocks per game. So far in his rookie year, he's shooting 44% from the field, 29% from 3, 79% from the free throw line. He's been moved over to the center spot. Zach Collins is coming off the bench, and he's got a lot more rebounds, more blocks. And yeah, he's been doing good. He had a good game the other day against Boston. He had a good game, even though they got blown out. He had a good one. But yeah, he's still doing his thing. Devin Vassell has been solid. He's averaging 18, 3 and 3, shooting 46% from the field, 36% from 3. Kellen Johnson has now moved to the bench as a 6-man role. So is Zach Collins. Jimmy Sohan has been solid. But yeah, this team is still pretty bad, offensively and defensively. They're starting to feed Wemby a little bit more now. He's getting a little more touches. But yeah, they still got to do more. Yeah, this team's just not going to be good this year, which is it's not a bad thing, because I mean, they weren't supposed to be a good team this year. People thought that maybe they could sneak into a play-in or compete for a play-in spot because of how Wemby came in and really was good. But yeah, no, they're not going to do that. They're probably going to finish with the worst record in the Western Conference. Yeah, 5-27 is not very good. At 28, we have the Washington Wizards. They're currently 6-26, 14th in the East. They have the 25th rated offense, the 29th defense, 27th in net rating. They gained a spot from last time. They jumped to the Spurs and Wizards, basically switched spots in my power rankings this one. Wizards, looking at some team stats, they're 6th. Offensively, actually, they don't look bad. Like, if you look at the numbers offensively, they look like an okay team. Like, they're 6th in field goals made. Efficiency-wise, they're not bad at all as well. They're 1st in pace. They're 10th in effective field goal percentage. They're 3rd in fast break points, 3rd in points in the paint. Like, they do some good things offensively. They're not a good rebounding team. They're the worst rebounding team in the league, 30th in rebounds per game, 29th in offensive rebounds per game. They're 29th in second chance points, which makes sense because they don't offensive rebound a lot. But defensively, man, they're bad defensively, very bad. They're 30th in opponent second chance points, so they give up a lot of second chance points, and they don't get a lot of second chance points. They're 29th in opponent points in the paint, so they don't guard the paint. They give up the most amount of field goals made, 30th in opponent field goals made, 29th in opponent field goal attempts, 30th in opponent rebounds per game, so they're the worst. They're the worst rebounding team, and they're the worst at giving up rebounds, which makes sense. 30th in opponent assists per game, and they give up the most amount of points per game. So yeah, this defense is very bad, which is why they are pretty bad, 6-26, even though they've won a couple games as of recently. Kyle Kuzma is still being good, bringing up his trade value. He's averaging 23, 6 and 4, shooting 46% from the field, 35% from 3. Jordan Poole is getting better. Jordan Poole, the last, I want to say 2-ish weeks, he's been getting a little better, showing some things. Tyus Jones has been good. I like what Danny Avdija, Corey Kispert has been. Daniel Gafford is averaging 10, 7, 2 blocks per game, shooting 68% from the field. The rookie Bilal Coulibaly doing some stuff as well. He's averaging 8 points per game, 4 rebounds. He's shooting 51% from the field, 40% from 3. Even though he's only taking a little bit less than 3 per game, he's still shooting efficient when he does get his shot. So yeah, there's some solid things to like about the Wizards players, but am I going to watch them? No, you probably should not watch them unless you're a Wizards fan. But yeah, defensively, they are horrible. They give up 126 points per game. They score 116 and give up 120. They're giving up 10 points. Like, it's bad. It's very bad in Washington. They're not a good watch unless Kyle Kuzma is going off. At 27, we have the Charlotte Hornets. They're 7-24. They have the 26th ranked offense, the worst defense, 30th defense, 20th in net rating. They fall 2 spots from last power ranking video. They're 13th in the East currently. They're currently on an 11-game losing streak, which is the longest losing streak now in the league. Looking at team stats, they're just not good overall. They're 27th in points per game. They're 27th in three-pointers made. They don't get to the free throw line. They're 20th in free throws made, 29th in free throw attempts, 20th in defensive rebounds, 27th in rebounding. They're the worst at drawing fouls. They're 27th in opponent field goal percentage. Teams shoot the best from 3 against them, 30th in opponent three-point percentage. They're just not a good team at all. LaMelo still has not played in a very long time. He's only played in 15 games. And since he's been gone, this team has just not been good at all. And it doesn't help also that Terry Rozier has missed the last couple games. Miles Bridges is back. He's averaging 19, 7, and 3, shooting 45% from the field. Brandon Miller, their rookie, has shown some things, averaging 15, 3, and 2, shooting 43% from the field, 39% from 3. Mark Williams has also missed some time. The team is just really banged up, and when they're banged up, they're very horrible. And I talked about this in my Pistons video when they broke the winning streak, or losing streak. If you missed that, go back and watch it. It's called It's Finally Over. And I was looking at their schedule, and I'm like, dang, when is the next time the Hornets can win? Like, the Hornets definitely could go on a long losing streak as well. They're currently on an 11-game losing streak. They got blown out by Denver last night. They play the Kings today in Sacramento, so that probably could be a loss. Then they play the Bulls on a back-to-back, but the Bulls are playing better. The Hornets maybe could get one of those. After that, they play the Kings again. Their next possible game could be against the Spurs. They play in San Antonio, and that's next Friday. So they could go on if they don't win until the Spurs game, they will be on a 15-game losing streak before going into San Antonio. If they don't win that game, it's tough. They play Miami, New Orleans, they play San Antonio again. Then after that, they play Philly, Minnesota. The Hornets can be the next team to go on a long losing streak. Because, yeah, I mean, without their players, they're just a bad team. At 26, we have the Portland Trailblazers. They're 9 and 23, 14th in the Western Conference. They have the 27th rated offense, the 18th rated defense, 25th in net rating. They dropped 3 spots from last Power Ranking video. Some stats offensively, they suck. They suck offensively. They're 29th in points per game, 29th in field goals made, 29th in field goal percentage, 30th. They're the worst defensive rebounding team, the least amount of assists per game, 29th in true shooting percentage, 30th in effective field goal percentage, 28th in points in the paint. So yeah, offensively they're not good, but they are second in second chance points, which is interesting. So offensively they're pretty bad. They have a young offensive team. Anthony Simons just came back. They average the least amount of assists. They had a lot of injuries and stuff. They have a very young team. They're still trying to figure it out. So offensively they're not good, but defensively they're actually not bad. I mean, that's why last Power Ranking video they're a little higher up, because defensively they were pretty solid. That's how they stay in games. They're second in steals per game. They are second in opponent three-point percentage, sixth in opponent three-point attempts, second in opponent three-pointers made. So they don't give up threes, and they force a lot of turnovers. They're second in opponent turnovers per game. So, I mean, they don't give up threes, and they force turnovers. That's good. Everywhere else defensively, they're not that great. They're 20th in opponent points off turnovers, 29th in opponent fast break points because they turn the ball over. They're 20th in opponent steals, 20th in opponent blocks. So, I mean, defensively, they're good because they don't give up threes and they force a lot of turnovers. So that's good for them. But yeah, this team, I mean, they definitely have some things that you're excited for. Anthony Simons has come back and been good. He's averaging 27, 3, and 5, shooting 45% from the field, 40% from 3. He's been great. Jeremy Grant has been pretty good too, averaging 22, 4, and 2. He's shooting 46% from the field and 41% from 3. Shaedon Sharpe has been solid. He's had some ups and downs. DeAndre Ayton has missed some time. Michael Brogdon has missed some time, but when they play, they're all right. Scoot Henderson is starting to play good. He had probably his best game. Well, not his best game. He had a really good game last night. Scoot's currently averaging 12, 2, and 4. Still not shooting the ball well, shooting 37% from the field, 29% from 3, and he's averaging 3 turnovers per game, and leads the team in fouls per game as well. But the last week, I want to say he's been doing his thing. Looking at the past few games, he's been pretty good. The last 9 games, right? I want to say, the last 9 games Scoot's played. No, the last 10 games. In the last 10 games for Scoot, he's averaging 15, 2, and 5. While shooting 39% from the field, 39% from 3. He's had 3 double-doubles in that span as well. So, yeah, he's playing a lot better. They have guys like Duop Reith, Jabari Walker, and Toumani Camara. They're doing some things, so that's cool. They got some players that, you don't really know playing good. But, yeah, this team still is not good. They're not going to be a good team at all. But, I mean, defensively, at least they could stay in some games. At 25, we have the Memphis Grizzlies at 10 and 22. They're 13th in the Western Conference. They have the worst offense in the league. They're 30th offensively, 12th defensively, 26 net rating. They jump up 2 spots from last Power Ranking video. Of course, Ja Morant is back now. So I was considering maybe putting them a little higher, but they have lost 3 in a row. Currently, I think they're 4-1 or 4-2. 3-2 with Ja Morant playing. Offensively, they're not good. They're last in points per game, last in field goals made, last in field goal percentage. They do take a lot of threes. They're 5th in three-point attempts, but they're 29th in three-point percentage. So they take a lot of threes, don't make a lot of threes. 27th in assists. They're 30th in true shooting percentage, 29th in effective field goal percentage. So offensively, they're very bad. Very bad offensively. But defensively, they're actually pretty good. They're 4th in blocks per game. They're 5th in points out turnovers. They're 3rd in opponent points in the paint. So they don't give a lot of paint points. They're 3rd in opponent turnovers. So they get a lot of turnovers and they don't let shots in the paint. They do give up threes though. That's their thing. They're 29th in opponent three-pointers made. They're 20th in opponent three-point percentage. So they do give up a lot of threes, but they guard the paint. So yeah, they're saying no one's gonna score inside, but they might outshoot us, which is the thing. John Morant is back though, and is playing really good so far. In the 6 games he's played, he's averaging 25, 5 and 7, shooting 46% of the field. Not shooting well from 3, only 17%. But he's been doing his thing. Desmond Bane has still been very good, even when Ja comes back. He's averaging 24, 4 and 5, shooting 47% of the field. Jaren has looked better since Ja's come back. He's averaging 21 points. Marcus Smart is back on the court. So yeah, they're slowly getting healthy. Still waiting for guys like Luke Kennard and them. But I mean, they're coming back and they look pretty good. Since John Morant's return, they are 4 and 3 in these games. 4 and 2 when he's played, because he did miss that game against the Denver Nuggets when they got blown out. But I mean, they look a lot better. John Morant's come back, and obviously they look like a completely different team, which makes sense. I mean, he's their superstar player, but he's come back, and the energy is different, the vibes are different. Players look a lot more productive, look a lot better in the role they're supposed to be playing. Guys like Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson going back to the role that you're supposed to be playing, and they look really good as well. It's going to take a lot to make it back up to the play-in. Right now, they're currently 5 games or 5.5 games behind the Lakers for that last spot in the 10 spot, and the Jazz are playing good too, so they got to catch up to the 12 seed first, and then get to 11 to 10. It's going to be a lot, but this Grizzlies team has the potential to do it. At 24, we have the Toronto Raptors. They're currently 13 and 20, 12th in the Eastern Conference. They have the 17th offense, the 17th defense, 22nd in net rating. They dropped 2 spots from last power ranking video. The Raptors, some team stats. They're 9th in field goals made. Offensively, both sides of the ball, they're pretty solid. They're all right. They don't really stand out particularly anywhere, but they're just pretty solid. They're 9th in field goals made. They don't shoot the ball well from 3. 25th in three-pointers made, 25th in three-point percentage. They're 29th in free throw percentage as well, so they don't get their easy ones. They're 7th in offensive rebounds, 7th in rebounding per game, 3rd in assists per game, which is good. 4th in personal fouls. I mean, they don't foul a lot. They're 2nd in fast break points, 6th in points in the paint. So offensively, they're pretty solid. They have some good parts, they have some bad parts. Defensively, they don't give up a lot of free throws because they don't foul a lot, which is pretty good. Everywhere else, they're kind of just average defensively. But yeah, this team, they made the big move the other day, trading OG Anunoby away to Toronto for RJ Barrett and Mayor quickly. They played their first game last night. They beat the Cavaliers. RJ had 19 and 9 rebounds, shooting 50%. He shot 6 for 12, 1 for 2 from 3. IQ had 14, 6 and 3 with 2 steals. He shot 5 for 13 from the field. He's starting now. No Dennis Schroeder starting. But yeah, and very interested to see where Pascal Siakam goes, because Pascal Siakam's probably going to be on the move pretty soon as well. And they're going with the young guys, which I really like. I talk a lot about it in my video where I discuss the trade. You can go back and watch that. But yeah, I'm very excited for this Raptors team for the future. I'm not expecting them to win a lot of games or be competitive or anything like that. I don't think they should be. I think they should focus on Scotty, RJ, IQ, the young guys, whoever they get from the Pascal. If they get any more young players from the Pascal Siakam trade, let Grady Dick go out there and play and stuff like that, and just focus on the young guys, let them grow and build this young team up, and maybe get a good pick next year, and then they can get another young player to add to this team. So yeah, I'm not really expecting this team to be competitive, especially after the OG Anunoby trade. So yeah. At 23, we have the Atlanta Hawks. They're 13 and 19. They're 11th in the Eastern Conference. They have the 5th best offense, the 27th defense, the 19th in net rating. They dropped 5 spots from last power ranking. One of the biggest drops. Not the biggest, but one of the bigger drops. Looking at them, the numbers-wise, offensively, they look like a really good team. They're 3rd in points per game. They're 5th in field goals made, 1st in field goal attempts. They're 4th in free throw percentage, 5th in pace, 4th in second chance points, 2nd in offensive offensive rebound really good. So offensively, they look like a good team. Everywhere they're kind of really good to like above average offensively. because, you know, I mean, this team can put up points. Defensively, completely different story. They're 27th in opponent second chance points, so they score a lot of second chance points, but they give up a lot of second chance points as well. They're 27th in opponent fast break points, 27th in opponent points in the paint, 28th in opponent field goals made, 28th in opponent field goal percentage, 29th in opponent assists per game, 27th in opponent points per game. Yeah, defensively they suck. Offensively they're good, and that's led them to being 13 and 19. I made a video about it the other day, talking about the Atlanta Hawks and why they're kind of stuck in a weird spot because they're just not good. And this team is supposed to be good. I was high on the Hawks coming into this season, had them above the play-in in the Eastern Conference, but right now they're outside the play-in looking in currently. Even though Trae Young is having a great year, he's averaging 28 and 11, shooting 43% from the field, 38% from three. He just had a 40 and 13 assist game the other day against the Wizards on New Year's Eve. He's been playing good. DeJounte Murray's had his moments. It's averaging 20. Bogdanovich is one of the leaders in Sixth Man of the Year. Jalen Johnson is back. He had a great game against the Wizards that night. He had 24 and 13 or something like that. So they had some good things. It's just this team as a collective just is not working. You know, I talked a lot about it in the Hawks video, so you can go back and watch that, so I don't want to bore you with it. But yeah, I think trading DeJounte isn't really working right now. And I think the Hawks probably should start entertaining some trades. Trading DeJounte Murray, even though you did just sign him to a contract extension in this offseason, but it's just not really working right now. The good thing is DeJounte Murray's not on a crazy contract, so it's not impossible to trade him. DeAndre Hunter potentially could be on the move, Clint Capella, so you can give a Kongwu, you know, some spots. Maybe even Bogdanovich. He's at a high value right now. Flip him and see if you can get some good things around him. But yeah, this Hawks team it's just not good. They're just kind of stuck in just this mediocre spot. At 22, we have the Utah Jazz. The Jazz, they're currently 15 and 19. They are 12th in the Western Conference. They have the 22nd ranked offense, 22nd defense, 24th in net rating. They jumped 2 spots from last power ranking video. The Jazz, they're a solid team. Looking at team stats, they're 26th in field goal percentage. 3-pointers, they give them up. They're 9th in 3-pointers made and 3-pointers attempted. They're 6th in free throw percentage. 3rd in offensive rebounds, 4th in rebounds. So they rebound the ball well. 8th in assists per game. They're 1st and second chance points. So, you know, they rebound, they get second chance points, they do stuff like that. They're 29th in turnovers per game, which is telling because they don't really have a true point guard. So it makes sense they turn the ball over a lot. Defensively, they're not great. They're not horrible, but they're all right. 29th in opponent points off turnovers as well because they turn the ball over a lot. 28th in opponent fast break points, which makes sense. They're 5th in opponent defensive rebounds, so they don't give up a lot of rebounds because they rebound the ball a lot. They're 6th in opponent free throws made, so they're not giving up a lot of free throws as well. 28th in opponent assists, 29th in opponent blocks per game. So they give up assists, give up blocks as well. But this team's actually been pretty good the last few games. They're 7-3 in their last 10, and they just beat the Mavericks last night. Lauri Markkanen having another good year, 23 and 8, shooting 48% from the field, 37% from 3. Jordan Clarkson had a triple-double last night, which is crazy. The first Jazz triple-double since 2008, Carlos Boozer, which is crazy, especially, I mean, Russell Westbrook had a whole year where he averaged triple-double. The Jazz haven't had one in 15 years. That's crazy. But Clarkson's been good. Colin Sexton, ever since he's become a starter, has been good. He's averaging 15 points per game, shooting 46% from the field. The rookie Keontae George, I like. Simone Fontecchio has become a really good player for this team. Walker Kessler, he's been in and out of the starting lineup, but when he's playing, he's averaging 9 and 8, averaging almost 3 blocks per game. He's been solid. Kelly Olynyk, Ochai Agbaji, Chris Dunn has had some decent moments. I mean, and they're playing really good as of recently. Again, 7-3 in their last 10. The Grizzlies are trying to catch up to the Utah, but Utah's like, no, not yet. And honestly, Utah's not that far out of the play-in right now. Utah is only 2 games behind the Lakers for the 10 spot. So maybe, I know the Jazz don't want to be in this possession, but this might be a similar thing to last year where Utah is surprising some teams and are in the play-in, and they're like, hey, they're probably not going to be this the rest of the year. I don't think they want to be in this spot. They want to tank and have a good pick. But just saying, you know, Utah is not a free win right now, you know. At 21, we have the Brooklyn Nets. They're currently 15 and 18. They're 9th in the Eastern Conference. They have the 11th ranked offense, the 24th defense, they're 20th in net rating. They dropped 2 spots from the last power ranking video. The Nets, offensively, they're actually pretty good, which is funny. I probably said this in the last power ranking video, but I thought the Nets are going to be solid because they're going to be a good defense and a bad offense. It's the opposite. They're actually a pretty good offense, not a good defense. Looking at they're 3rd in field goal attempts, They get up a lot of threes. They're 9th three-point percentage. They're 3rd in rebounding, 5th in turnovers, so they're not turning the ball over a lot. They're 4th in offensive rebounds as well, 4th in opponent points off turnovers. So defensively, they got that going. They're 6th in opponent points in the paint, so they got that going defensively. They do give up a lot of threes, or good threes. They're 26th in opponent three-point percentage, and they're also the worst in opponent turnovers. So they don't force turnovers a lot. Yeah, this next team, they've been very up and down this year. They're currently on a 3-game losing streak after going on a little win streak, and then they're on a losing streak before that. They've been very up and down. They're very streaky so far this year. Mikal Bridges has been a lot better. As of recently, he's averaging 21, 5, and 3, shooting 45% from the field, 36% from 3. He might be an all-star. Who knows? Cam Thompson's still doing his thing, leading the team in scoring, averaging 22 points per game, shooting 44% from the field, 36% from 3. Cam Johnson has been good. Lonnie Walker's unfortunately missed a lot of time, which sucks because he was like having a really good year. Spencer Dinwiddie's been all right. Nick Claxton is back and doing his thing. You know, I mean, this team on paper looks solid. Fortunately, they have not had Ben Simmons for a long time, which sucks. But yeah, this team has been very streaky, up and down. I still don't really know what to like fully think of this team because they go on like a 3-game winning streak and you're like, oh shoot, here are the Nets. And then they go on a 3-game losing streak and they're like, oh, they suck. But then they win another few games. It's like they've been streaky. They've been streaky all year. They're currently on a 3-game losing streak. And they're 3 games under 500. And yeah, they're probably going to be just a play-in team. At 20, we have the Chicago Bulls. They're currently 15-19. They're 10th in the Eastern Conference. They have the 24th offense, the 15th defense, 23rd in net rating. They jump up 6 spots from the last power ranking video, which is the second highest jump in this power ranking. The Bulls have been a lot better. Now, looking at stats-wise and stuff, they don't look that great. They're still the 20th in points per game, 20th in field goal percentage, 29th in assist, 30th in pace. They're 20th in true shooting percentage, 20th in effective field goal percentage. That's the bad parts of the offense. They are first in turnovers per game, though, so they're not turning the ball over a lot. And this team has been just a not fast but efficient offense, I guess. They don't turn the ball over a lot. Offensively, they do what they have to do. Defensively, they're pretty solid, though. They're 8th in steals per game. They're 2nd in opponent points off turnovers. So, again, they don't turn the ball over. They're not giving up a lot of points off turnovers. They're 1st in opponent points in the paint. So they're not giving up paint points. Nikola Vucevic, rim protector? Maybe. They're 4th in opponent field goals made, 1st in opponent field goal attempts, 20th in opponent three-pointers made, though. So they do give up the 3. They're not giving up the paint. They are giving up the 3, though. So they're 20th in opponent three-pointers made, 20th in opponent three-point percentage. They're 5th in opponent turnovers. So they're 4th in turnovers. They're 3rd in opponent steals, 9th in opponent points per game. So defensively, they're looking pretty solid, pretty good. Offensively, still, they make it work, you know. But really, they've been a lot better since Zach LaVine has gone away. Saying since Zach LaVine has left this team, well, left this team in a sense of he's injured, quote unquote. You know, they are 10-5 since Zach LaVine's gone. A whole month. In the last month, they're 10-5. You know, they got some good wins too. They beat the Bucks. They went to 2 overtime games against the Bucks. They lost 1 and won 1. They beat the Pelicans. They beat the Heat. They beat the 76ers. They beat the Lakers. They beat the 76ers twice, actually, in this stretch. So they look like a good team, you know, without Zach LaVine, which is a big thing. DeMar DeRozan doing his thing, averaging 22, 3, and 5, shooting 45% of the field. Kobe White is having a great year. He's averaging 17, 4, and 4, shooting 44% from the field, 39% from 3. Vucevic has been solid. Patrick Williams has kind of broken out a little bit. He's averaging 10, shooting 46% from the field and 40% from 3. Andre Drummond's a starter now, and he's rebounding the heck of the ball, averaging 21 rebounds in his 3 starts because Vucevic is injured now. Yeah, I mean, it's just showing the Bulls, hey, Chicago, blow it up. Trade Zach, trade DeMar, let the young guys run it. Because when the young guys running it, they're fun and they're winning games random for some reason, which is backwards, but it's working. It's working. So let the young guys run the show, Chicago. It does not feel like we are 30 minutes in, but I guess we're going. Keep running the show. The Warriors at 19. 19th, we have the Golden State Warriors. They're 15-17. They're 11th in the Western Conference. They have the 14th offense, the 16th defense, 16th in net rating. They jump up 1 spot from last power ranking video. The Warriors, of course, they've been struggling. They're currently on a 3-game losing streak after going on a 5-game winning streak to go over 500. So, yeah, they're being streaky as well. Looking at some team stats for them, offensively they don't look bad on paper. They're 9th in points per game, 6th in field goal attempts. They're 4th in 3-pointers made and 3-pointers attempted. They're 1st in offensive rebounds per game. They're 2nd in total rebounds per game, which is crazy because they're a smaller team. But team rebounding, I guess. They're 6th in assists per game. So they don't look bad when you look at that. After the other end, they're 25th in turnovers per game. They're 20th in blocks, 29th in fast break points, 30th in points in the paint. They average the least amount of points in the paint per game. Because again, they're a very small team. Defensively, they give a lot of free throws. They're 20th in opponent free throws made, 29th or 27th in opponent free throw attempts. So yeah, this Warriors team, again, they're still very up and down. Draymond Green, of course, the suspension that has happened. He has not played in a while. Steph has actually been on a kind of a cold one, which is very random, but he has been. During this 3-game losing streak, Steph's averaging 18 points. He's shooting 31% from the field and 30% from 3, which is crazy numbers from Steph Curry. 30% from 3, 30% from 3. That's unheard of for him. Clay has also been really struggling throughout this little losing streak. Wiggins is he's getting a little bit better, but he's still not there yet. Jonathan Kuminga has been decent though throughout this little stretch since Draymond Green has been out. Jonathan Kuminga has done something. The young guys have actually stepped up. Jonathan Kuminga, Brandon Podziemski looks really good. He's averaging 9 and 5 with 3 assists and a steal. He's shooting 47% from the field and 41% from 3. Trace Jackson Davis is in there. He's rebounding the heck out of the ball, making some good impact plays. So that's good. But this Warriors team is still struggling. I've talked about the Warriors a lot, I feel like, this season. And I keep saying the same thing. Like, this team you just got to make some moves if you want to really compete with Steph Curry still. This team is just not it anymore. At 18, we have the Houston Rockets. They're 16 and 15. They're 9th in the Western Conference. They have the 18th ranked offense, the 6th best defense. They're 9th in net rating. They dropped 4 spots from last power ranking video. The Rockets, they've been very good defensively. Offensively, they're all right. They do their thing. Offensively, they're about average to below average-ish in most everything. They do rebound the ball well. They're 6th in rebounds per game. They're 7th in turnovers per game as well, so they're being efficient. They are 20th in pace, which is interesting for a young team, but that's just how they go. But defensively, that's where they make their mark. They give up the least amount of fast break points. They give up like 8 fast break points a game, which is really, really good. 5th in opponent points in the paint. They're 1st in opponent field goals made, 4th in opponent field goal attempts, 4th in opponent field goal percentage, 1st in opponent 3-point percentage. So they're not giving up efficient shooting from the field or from 3. The only thing about their defense is free throws. They are a young team, obviously. They're 20th in fouls. They're 27th in opponent free throws made, 20th in opponent free throw attempts. So they do give up a lot of free throws. But besides that, and the interesting thing too about the free throw is they're 2nd in opponent free throw percentage. So they give up a lot of free throws, but teams aren't making free throws on them. So hey, they're also 2nd in opponent assists and 3rd in opponent points per game. So defensively, they're amazing. They're really good defensively, especially for this young team. You expect them to come in. You expect it to be the opposite. You expect them to be, like a cool defense, good offense maybe, but with Ime Udoka, they're just amazing offensively. Amazing defensively. Offensively, they make it work. Alperen Şengün might be an all-star this year. He's been great. He's averaging 21, 9, and 5 with a steal. He's shooting 54% from the field, 31% from 3. He's been just amazing. Jalen Green has had his moments where he's not looking great. Has moments where he's looked good. He's been Fred VanVleet, he's been good. 17 points, 8 assists. Dylan Brooks has been really good, shooting 40% from 3. Jabari Smith Jr. is finding his way. Tari Eason has been good. Jeff Green has been solid. This team is they've been a good team, which is very surprising. Of course, the Rockets have been kind of the joke of the league the past 2 or 3 years. And now Ime Udoka comes in, they bring in a couple vets, and now they look like a good team. They look like they probably can make a play-in. Right now, they're currently 9th in the East right now. They're probably going to stay around 500 for the rest of the season-ish. That's when they've been around most of the year. But this is still a really competitive Rockets team. At 17, we have the LA Lakers. They are 17 and 17. They're 10th in the Western Conference. They're the 23rd offense, the 10th rated defense, and the 21st in net rating. They dropped 1 spot from last power ranking video. The Lakers, offensively, they're not very good. 3-pointers. They're 20th in three-pointers made, 20th in three-point attempts. They also don't rebound the ball offensively. They're 20th in offensive rebounds per game, but they're second in defensive rebounds per game. So they get a lot of defensive rebounds. They don't get a lot of offensive rebounds. They're also 7th in field goal percentage. They also don't foul. They're first in personal fouls. They're second in opponent free throws made and attempted. So they don't get a lot of free throws. They don't foul a lot, which is good. But yeah, defensively they've been solid. You know, they're okay, I guess, in some spots. But this team just is not. It's not a contender. That's not a contender. They went 7-0 in the in-season tournament, and beside the in-season tournament, they're 10-17. So yeah, this team just is not. They're not a contender. And LeBron and AD have been playing great. LeBron's averaging 25, 7, and 7, shooting 53% from the field, 41% from three at 39 years old. AD's averaging 25, 12, 2 blocks, shooting 55% from the field. He's been great. After that, it's just been like, Austin Reeves moved to the bench, and he's been a lot better now off the bench, but it just hasn't taken the jump that we expected. D'Angelo Russell has been up and down. Rhett Jamur's been solid, but he's not really playing a lot. Torian Prince has done his thing sometimes, you know. Yeah, after that, just this team is not this free agency, and this team was brought in. These players are brought in so that LeBron doesn't have to go hard. They said it opening night. We're not going to play LeBron 30th minutes per game. We're going to let him chill. LeBron has had to play 34 minutes per game because when LeBron's out on the court, this team sucks. You know? And I feel it's probably time. The Lakers probably are going to have to make a move and make a star chase again. If they do it, I can't even blame them because this team just does not look like the contender. And it's not the team that we thought this team was going to be. You know? At 16, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're 18-15. They're 8th in the Eastern Conference. They have the 20th offense, the 11th in defense, they're 18th in net rating. They jump one spot from last power ranking video. The Cavs, offensively, they're solid. They are about average to below average in a lot of things. 3-pointers, they're 26th in 3-point percentage. They also don't get to the free throw line. They're 27th in free throws made and 27th in free throw attempts. You know, so offensively, they're not that great. They have their moments. Defensively, though, they're still good, which is why they still win games. They're 7th in opponent field goals made, 9th in opponent field goal attempts, 8th in opponent field goal percentage, 5th in opponent assists, 10th in opponent points per game. So defensively, they're still good. They have been battered with the injury bug this entire year. So far this year, they have played in 33 games this year. The Cavs of the team has played 33. Donovan Mitchell has played in 24. Darius Garland has played in 20. Evan Mobley has played in 21. Chris Vert's played 25. Isaiah Cole has played 24. The injury bug has been hitting them. Only Max Strus and George Niang are the only 2 players that have played in every game this year. You know? And the only players that played even 30 or more games. You know? So besides those 2, every player on the team has missed at least 5 games for the Cavaliers. And with Darius Garland and Evan Mobley out for a little while longer, you know, they're going to be out for a while. But for some reason, the NBA works weird because they've actually been winning games. Since the Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley injuries have been announced, they're 5-3. You know, they went on a 3-game win streak. They beat the Hawks, the Rockets, the Jazz. They lost to the Pelicans. They beat the Cavs or the Bulls and Mavs. They lost the Bucks and the Raptors the last 2 games. But now they're on an easy stretch. They play the Wizards, the Spurs, the Nets, the Bulls. So, like, for some reason, this team just plays better when they don't have their stars. You know, Donovan Mitchell finally has come back. He's been good. Karis LeVert has been good off the bench for them. Max Strus and George Niang have been solid. Sam Merrill is a 3-point marksman. He's shooting 44% from 3. Craig Porter Jr., their undrafted rookie, he needs a regular contract because he's been really good. Tristan Thompson at 32 years old is still good. You know, so, I mean, they've gotten some credit to JB Bickerstaff, the coaching staff, and the bench players because they really stepped up with all the players injured. You know, how long this is going to last? Probably not going to last a long time. But, you know, they're one of the most confusing teams to judge because, again, they have not been healthy. You know, so we don't really know what their peak is. At 15, I have the Phoenix Suns. They are 18-15. They're 8th in the Western Conference. They have the 13th offense, the 14th defense, 13th in net rating. They are tied for the biggest drop in the power rankings. They have dropped 6 spots from last power ranking. Looking at the Suns, they're just about an average team in a lot of places. Offensively, they're 25th in field goal made, 20th in field goal attempts. So they're not making a lot of shots, not taking a lot of shots, but they've been efficient there. They're 26th in 3-point attempts. So they don't get a lot of shots up, this team. But when they do, they've been solidly efficient. You know, they do get to the free throw line a lot though. They're second in free throws made, fourth in free throw attempts, fifth in free throw percentage. So they do that. They're second in personal fouls drawn as well. They're eighth in true shooting percentage. So again, they're not taking a lot of shots. When they do, they're making them. They're third in blocks per game, which is interesting. They're 27th in pace. So they're not a fast team. Again, they don't give a lot of shots. Makes a lot of sense. Defensively, they're all right. They have their good things. They don't give up a lot of rebounds. They're first in opponent defensive rebounds, first in opponent rebounding per game. Even though they're not one of the top rebounding teams, they don't give up a lot of rebounds. They don't give up a lot of second chance points and stuff like that. And they're also seventh in opponent field goal percentage. But yeah, this team has had its struggles. They were on a big losing streak, you know, where they lost. Like, they were like 3-7 or something in their last 10. It's not looking good. They're currently on a 4-game winning streak. They beat the Rockets, the Hornets, Magic, Blazers. Not the best competition, but for the wins are wins at some point. Bradley Beal came back. He had a good game against the Magic. He had 25 points. Kevin Durant has kind of fallen a little bit in the last few games. So has Devin Booker. You know, the team was just really struggling. You know, there's a lot of talks about Kevin Durant not being happy over there again. You know, Eric Gordon wants some more touches. Like, just a lot of other stuff going on in Phoenix. But now they're currently on a 4-game winning streak. You know, this team it's another team that's been very hard to pinpoint what they are because injuries. Bradley Beal's only played in 9 games. Devin Booker's missed a lot of games. Kevin Durant's missed a couple games. You know, I don't think they've had anybody on their team yet. They have not had any player on their team play every game. You know, Jordan Goodwin and Yusuf Nurkic have both played 31. That's the most. But besides that, they haven't had any player play in every game this year. So that's a big thing. Obviously, health. But yeah, in continuity, especially with this type of team where you have Durant, Booker, and Beal, three star players that need to figure out how to work together and play together. You know, it just sucks when you don't have them playing. You know, this is where this is the learning point of like, all right, learn, okay, what lineups work, what lineups don't work. These players like playing with this guy. They play well the other, so all this stuff like that. They're not doing it now because injuries. But now they're healthy, even though KD missed last night. They're healthy enough where all three of them can play a decent stretch together, and now maybe we can see what this Suns team truly is about. At 14, we have the New York Knicks. They're 18-15. They're 7th in the Eastern Conference. They have the 9th best offense, the 19th defense, 12th in net rating. They also dropped 6 spots from last power ranking video. So the Suns and Knicks were tied for the biggest drops in the power rankings. But yeah, the Knicks, offensively, they're still good. They're still a top 10 offense. They're 8th in three-point percentage. They get to the free throw line. They're 6th in free throw attempts. They rebound the ball well. They're 5th in rebounds, 5th in offensive rebounds per game. They're 9th in turnovers, so they don't turn the ball over a lot. They're 3rd in second chance points because they're a good rebounding team. They're also, defensively, they don't foul. They're 6th in personal fouls. They're top 5 in opponent free throw made, free throw attempts. They're 5th in opponent field goal attempts as well. It's interesting because when you look at, like, if you look at defensively their numbers, they don't look a bad defense, but they've fallen a lot significantly on defense. They're 19th defensively now, which is very interesting, you know. Even though this team is probably mostly, like, you know, built on defense, it's not been like that. They did make the big trade again. OG Anunoby played his first game last night. He had 17 points, 6 rebounds, hit 3 3-pointers. I like how he fits there with New York and the Knicks. Jalen Brunson has been great. 25, 4, and 6. He's shooting 46% from the field, 43% from 3. Julius Randle is getting back to what he was last year. He's averaging 24, 9, and 4. You know, Dante DiVincenzo has been really good. Josh Hart. Unfortunately, they have lost Mitchell Robinson for the entirety of the year. I say Hartenstein has come in. He stepped in pretty solid. They signed Taj Gibson. They brought in Precious Achiuwa in the trade to eat up some center minutes as well. But yeah, this Knicks team, still a pretty solid team. You know, still a team that's going to be tough to beat, especially when Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle are doing their thing. You know, now seeing how OG Anunoby integrates into the team is going to be interesting, even though it shouldn't be hard because he's a guy that I feel like you can plug in and play, you know. So yeah, very interested to see how this Knicks team looks now without OG, without Mitchell Robinson, or with OG, without Mitchell Robinson in the center play, how they go up against like teams like Joel Embiid and stuff like that. But yeah, the Knicks are still a pretty solid team. At 13, we have the Dallas Mavericks. They're 19-15. They're 7th in the Western Conference. They have the 10th best offense, the 23rd defense. They're 17th in net rating. They dropped 2 spots from last power ranking video. The Mavericks, offensively, they're still top 10 because of Luka Doncic, you know. But realistically, they're 7th in points per game, 5th in field goal attempts, 3-pointers. They hit them and they get them up. They're 2nd in 3-pointers made and 3-pointers attempted. They're also 2nd in turnovers per game, so they're not turning the ball over as well. They're 8th in pace. They're 9th in effective field goal percentage. So they do things well. Defensively, they're not great. They're 28th in steals per game, 26th they're 3rd in opponent points off turnovers, so they do that well. They're 30th in opponent fast break points, so they give up a lot of fast break points, most in the league. They also give up a lot of rebounds as well. Defensively, they're just not that great, which is the thing that a few years ago they made it to the conference finals because of their defense and Luka, but now they're really just winning games because Luka Doncic has been amazing. Luka's averaging 33, 8, and 9 with the steal, shooting 48% from the field and 37% from 3. He's been absolutely ridiculous this season, and he might be the front runner for MVP right now. It's either between him or Joel Embiid. Kyrie Irving has missed a lot of games, unfortunately. He came back last night, didn't have a great game. The Mavericks in general just did not have a great game last night. They probably were out partying for New Year's, I guess, because they did not play good last night. But they've been winning games without Kyrie, which is a good thing. They do have their streaks. They win a couple games, lose a couple games. But Luka, as long as he's there, they've been good. Derrick Jones Jr. is having a really good season. He's averaging 10 points, shooting 34% from the field, or 34% from 3. Tim Hardaway Jr. Is in the 6th man of the year conversation. He's averaging 17.5 points, shooting 35% from 3. Dante Exum looks like an NBA player, which is really good. He's shooting 45% from 3, 57% from the field. Derek Lively's been solid as a rookie. Grant Williams has unfortunately fallen a little bit, but he's still shooting the ball efficiently, So, yeah, this Mavs team is still going to be good. As long as 77 is on the court, they're going to have a chance to win every game. At 12, I have the Indiana Pacers. They're currently 18-14. They're 6th in the Eastern Conference. They have the number 1 offense in the NBA, the 28th defense. They're 11th in net rating. They jump up 1 spot from last power ranking video. Yeah, I said it a lot. We know this about the Pacers. Offensively, they're really, really good. 1st in points per game, 1st in field goals made, 2nd in field goal attempts, 1st in field goal percentage, 5th in 3-pointers made, 3rd in 3-point percentage, 1st in assists per game, 2nd in pace, 2nd in true shooting percentage, 1st in effective field goal percentage, 3rd in points off turnovers, 1st in fast break points, 1st in points on the paint. Offensively, they're near the top in basically everything. They're not a good rebounding team though. They're 29th in rebounds, 29th in defensive rebounds per game. That's the one thing, I guess. But everywhere defensively, they are not good. They're 29th in opponent second chance points. They're 1st in points in the paint. They're 1st in opponent points in the paint, or they're 30th in opponent points in the paint as well. So they score the most amount of points in the paint, and they give up the most amount of points in the paint. So it's like a trade-off. We're gonna score a lot in the paint, but we're not gonna score. But we're gonna let you score a lot in the paint. And it looks like that because you look at their defensive numbers. They don't give up threes. They're 1st in opponent 3-pointers made and 1st in opponent 3-point attempts. So they're running people off the 3-point line and forcing them to get to the rim. So that's what their defense is. Apparently, they're funneling to Miles Turner. Miles Turner has been doing a great job because they give up the most amount of points in the paint. They're 29th in opponent field goals made, 30th in opponent field goal attempts, opponent field goal percentage. I'm sorry. So teams are shooting the ball well against them from the field. They also give up the most amount of free throws. 30th in opponent free throws made, 29th in opponent free throw attempts, 29th in opponent points per game. So, defensively, they suck. Offensively, they're great. That's what this team is. Tyrese Halliburton still having an amazing season, averaging 24 and 12 assists, almost 13 assists per game, while shooting 50-40 and almost 90-85%. He had back-to-back 20-20 games. He's great. Miles Turner, he's been solid. He's averaging 17 and 7. Benedict Mathurin has been good, 14 points per game. They've changed the lineup around some because they were on a little losing streak coming out of the Instant Tournament Championship game. They went on a little losing streak, but now they're currently on a 4-game winning streak. They beat the Rockets, the Bulls, the Knicks, and the Bucks last night. So yeah, they're looking a lot better again. Tyrese Halliburton, amazing. He'll be starting in the All-Star game. He's in the MVP conversation. He's great. And yeah, they're a fun team to watch. They always will be. At 11, I have the New Orleans Pelicans. They're 19-14. They're 6th in the Western Conference. They have the 15th offense, the 8th best defense, 8th in net rating. They jump 4 spots from the last power ranking video. The Pelicans, they're a team that I talked about early in being a confusing team because I didn't know really what this team was, But now they're slowly starting to figure it out. They're getting some good wins and looking like a better and better team as we go on. They're 9th in field goal percentage. They get to the free throw line a lot. They're 7th in free throws made, 5th in free throw attempts, 8th in points in the paint. They do that. 3-point shot, still not good. 26th in three-pointers made, 27th in three-point attempts. So they don't shoot the ball well from three still. Defensively, they're top 10. You know, they're top 10. They're third in steals, first in opponent steals, so they're not giving up steals to their team. One thing I said last time in the video, and still applies, is that they play a risky game on defense because they give up a lot of threes. They're 30th in opponent three-point attempts. So they're letting teams shoot the ball from three, but they're 4th in opponent three-point percentage. So they give up a lot of threes, but teams are not making a lot of threes on them, percentage-wise. So they play a risky game over there defensively, but it's been working so far. They're in the top 10 defensively. But yeah, this team's getting better and better as we go. Brandon Ingram is averaging 23, 4, and 5. He's shooting 50% from the field, 34% from 3. Zion has done his thing. He's averaging 22, 6, and 4, shooting 58%. CJ McCollum doing his thing. He's shooting the lights out from 3, 42%. Trey Murphy is back, and he's been great, averaging 14 and 4, shooting 42% from 3. JV, Herb Jones have done their thing. Jose Alvarado is back playing. This team is finally healthy again. They're healthy again. Defensively, they're locking in. Offensively, they get their thing. They get the job done. You know, and they're a team that, you know, they're a very kind of interesting team to think about, especially when you think about playoffs and stuff like that, because they have the talent where they could, like, give a top team some problems, or maybe even knock off a team like the Clippers or something like that. But just don't know how long it's going to last again because of injuries. We don't know how long they're going to be healthy like this. And just, they've been inconsistent sometimes, especially the fourth quarter. I feel like one of their flaws is in the fourth quarter, they are not great at closing out games. And that comes with experience and just probably playing more together, you know? So that's one thing I'm worried about. But this Pelicans team, man, they're getting better. We have now entered the top 10. At number 10, I have the Sacramento Kings. They are 19 and 12. They're 5th in the Western Conference. They have the 12th offense, the 21st defense. They're 15th in net rating. They jumped 2 spots from last power ranking. The Kings, offensively, they haven't been as great as they were last year, but then again, last year was an historic offensive year for them. But they're still good. They're 8th in points per game, 3rd in three-pointers made, 3rd in three-point attempts, 5th in assists, 6th in effective field goal percentage. Weirdly, they're not a good free throw shooting team. They're worst in the league in free throw percentage, so they got to get that up. That's free points right there, you know. Offensively, they're good. They're gonna be fine. Defensively, though, is where they're saying 27th in blocks. They're 28th in points off turnovers because they don't create a lot of turnovers. They're 20th in fast break points, which makes sense because they don't create a lot of turnovers. But they're 1st in opponent second chance points. You know, they're 3rd in opponent fast break points, 3rd in opponent offensive rebounds. So one thing they do is they don't give up second chance points. They don't give up a lot of easy opportunities, which is the thing. Defensively, they're still not that great, though, which is the thing we kind of expected from them. De'Aaron Fox having an amazing season. 30 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, over 1.5 steals. He's shooting 48% from the field and 40% from 3. He's been amazing. Sabonis has been Sabonis, 19, 12, and 7.5 assists. Keegan Murray, he's had a very tough shooting stretch, but now he's starting to pick it up. He had a 12 three-pointer game recently. Malik Monk is still one of the better 6 men. You know, so this team has still been solid. It's still been a solid team. Don't feel like the same Kings team as they were last year with the punch and stuff, probably because we kind of already know what the Kings are about now. They're not a surprise anymore to us, but they're still a good team. You know, they still have to clean up some things. I feel like they're not fully 100% kind of like, all right, like, I don't know. They just don't feel like they're fully 100% ready and there yet, but that just takes more playing together. They have had a couple injuries as well here and there. So, yeah, we'll see how they keep going throughout the year, but they're still a good team. At number 9, we have the Miami Heat. They're 19 and 14. They're 5th in the Eastern Conference. They have the 16th offense, the 13th defense. They're 14th in net rating. They jump 1 spot from last power ranking. The Heat, still a good team. Yep, they're still good. Even with injuries and stuff to Jimmy Butler, Kyle Lowry, Bam missed some time. Tyler Hero missed a lot of time. They're still a top 5 team in the Eastern Conference and still a top 10 team in the NBA. Even though you look at their numbers and stuff, they're 28th in field goals made, 29th in field goal attempts. So they're not taking a lot of shots, but they've been efficient, especially with the 3-ball. They're 2nd in three-point percentage. If you look at a lot of their numbers, you know, they're not going crazy like scoring in the paint. They're 27th in points in the paint, 30th in fast break points. You know, so they're not like scoring in the paint and doing all that stuff like that. But the threes and free throws, they're 2nd in three-point percentage, 3rd in free throw percentage. They're top 10 in free throws made and free throw attempts as well. They're doing that thing. They also don't foul, discipline as well. So they make a lot of free throws and don't give up a lot of free throws, which is a good thing for them. Defensively, they're still good as well, even though they are 30th in blocks, 26 in offensive rebounds. So they're not doing those things. But everywhere else, they're second in opponent second chance points, third in opponent field goal attempts. Again, top 5 in opponent free throw means and free throw attempts. Second in opponent offensive rebounds per game. 5th in opponent rebounds per game. 8th in opponent points per game. So defensively, they're still good. Offensively, they make it work. Even though, again, they've had a lot of injuries in this team. They've played 33 games, and Jaime Jaquez is the only player that's played in every game. Jaime Jaquez is the only player that's played in every game. Besides that, Tyler Hero has only played in 15. So Tyler Hero's missed 18 games. Bam's missed 10 games. Jimmy's missed 9 games. Caleb Martin has missed 13 games. Kyle Lowry's missed 4 games. Kevin Love's missed 7 games. Josh Richardson has missed 9 games. So they've had a lot of injury problems. Yet they still are 19-14 and 5th in the Eastern Conference. Tyler Hero is having a really good year, especially since he's come back. He's averaging 23, 4, and 5, or 5 and 4 with a steal. Bam, 22 and 10 with a steal and a block, doing his thing. Jimmy's been solid. Duncan Robinson has made a big jump this year. He's averaging 14 points per game, shooting 48% from the field and 44% from 3. Jaime Jaquez is one of the best rookies in this class. He's averaging 13, 4, and 2 with a steal, shooting 50% from the field and 35% from 3. So, yeah, they still get it done. They've had guys like Jamal Cain and Jovic is starting to play now. RJ Hampton is starting now. That's just what the Heat do. Because the Heat, Eric Spoelstra, they find talent and they make players play good. That's just what they do. And we just got to accept it, At number 8, we have the Orlando Magic, another Florida team. They are 19-13. They're 4th in the Eastern Conference. They have the 21st offense, the 5th best defense, 10th in net rating. They dropped 3 spots from last power ranking video. Yeah, the Magic, offensively, they don't look like a great team. They're 27th in field goal attempts. They're the worst three-point shooting team. They're 30th in three-pointers made, 29th in three-point attempts, 30th in three-point percentage. So they're not a good three-point shooting team. They do make up for it, though, at the free throw line. They're 4th in free throws made, 1st in free throw attempts, 1st in personal fouls drawn. So they're not hitting a lot of threes, but they're getting to the line, and making you work there. 2nd in points in the paint as well. So they score from the paint and from free throws, mostly. So, yeah, and they're also 5th in second chance points as well. But defensively, that's when they make their mark. They're 5th in steals per game. They're 2nd in points off turnovers. So that's how they score a lot as well, points off turnovers. They're 2nd in opponent field goal attempts, 6th in opponent field goal attempt, 6th in opponent three-point attempts, So they're not giving up a lot of shots from the field or from 3. 1st in opponent offensive rebounds, so they're not giving up second chance points, not giving up a lot of offensive rebounds. 4th in opponent rebounds per game. 1st in opponent assists per game. 4th in opponent turnovers. 5th in opponent points per game. So defensively, they're locked in. Defensively, they're great. Top 5 defensively, they're locked in there. Offensively, still has a lot of work to be done. But if you're locking up like they're locking up defensively, they have the offensive pieces where they can win games like that. Paolo is averaging 21, 7, and 4. He's probably gonna be an all-star this year, shooting 46% from the field, 35% from 3. Franz has been very good as well, averaging 21, 6, and 4. Cole Anthony as a 6 man has been really good, 14, 4, and 3, 44% shooting. Jalen Suggs is shooting 35% from 3. Mo Wagner has been really good off the bench. Markelle Fultz hasn't played in a while. Wendell Carter Jr. is back, but yeah, this team is playing just really, really good. Who would have thought the Orlando Magic are a top 5 team in the Eastern Conference in January? They have kind of fallen a little bit. They were right on the Celtics' tail, dang near. They're on a 9-game winning streak. They're on the Celtics' tail early. They since have fallen a little bit. They were on a 4-game losing streak a little while ago. But this team is, they're still a team you gotta play against. Not a team that you get an easy win. This isn't the same old Orlando Magic anymore. This is a tough, gritty, grind Orlando Magic team that's gonna defend, and they have the offensive pieces where, if you slip up, they can have some big nights. At 7, we have the LA Clippers. They're 20-12. They're 4th in the Western Conference. They have the 8th best offense, the 9th best defense. They're one of 6 teams with top 10 offense and defenses. They're 7th in net rating. They make the biggest jump. They jump 14 spots in the power ranking. They're 21. In the last power ranking video, they're 7 now. That just shows how well they've been playing recently. Offensively, they're 10th in points per game. They don't take a lot of shots. They're not like they're a top team in taking shots in threes and stuff like that, but they're efficient. 5th in field goal percentage, 5th in three-point percentage, 6th in true shooting percentage, 5th in effective field goal percentage. So they're not a crazy high-powered, high-flow, 125-point type offense, but they're efficient, which is good enough to win games, obviously. Defensively, they're kind of the same. They're not like a top team and like get a lot of steals. Well, they're 7th in steals, but get a lot of steals blocks. But they do it well. They're 5th in opponent field goal percentage, 8th in opponent 3-point percentage. So they're giving up. They're not giving up. They're not letting teams get easy shots on them. They're 7th in opponent points per game. They've been really, really good as we see. I mean, of course, they had that streak where they lost their first 6 games with James Harden, but then they won on a 9-game winning streak recently. Since that 6-game losing streak since James Harden came to town, they've gone 18-5 since the 6-game losing streak. And in their last 14 games, they're 12-2. So, they're starting to ball. Kawhi Leonard, he has missed a couple games now. He's still playing at a really high level. 24, 6 and 3 with a steal, shooting 52% from the field and 42% from 3. Paul George, he's averaging 23, 5 and 4, shooting 45% from the field, 39% from 3. James Harden is starting to find himself. He's averaging 17, 5 and 8 with a steal and a block while shooting well. Norman Powell is shooting 45% from 3. Zubac is starting to find his place. Russell Westbrook is playing really good, averaging 11, 6 and 5 off the bench. So this team, they're starting to put it together. They're starting to be a very scary team. They're starting to figure out how to play together, and we're still in January. They still have a lot more time left to go, man. So this team, gotta watch out. At 6, we have the reigning champs, the Denver Nuggets. They're 24-11. They're 3rd in the Western Conference. They have the 7th best offense, 7th defense, 4th in net rating. They dropped 2 spots from last Power video. The Nuggets are still the Nuggets. They're still a good team. They're 4th in field goals made, 4th in field goal percentage, 7th in three-point percentage. They do not get to the free throw line, though. 30th in free throws made, 20th in free throw attempts, 20th in free throw percentage. So, surprisingly for a championship team, they don't get their easy ones. They're 9th in rebounds, 2nd in assists, 3rd in turnovers, 7th in effective field goal percentage, 4th in points in the paint. They are 29th in pace, so they don't play really fast, but they're efficient. And defensively, they're pretty good as well. 3rd in opponent points off turnovers, 5th in opponent field goals made, 6th in opponent field goal percentage, 4th in opponent 3-pointers made, 3rd in opponent 3-point attempts, 6th in opponent assists per game, 2nd in opponent points per game. So defensively, they're good. Offensively, they're good. I mean, they're the reigning champs. They're still a team, they have to respect and you have to go through. Nikola Jokic is averaging 25, 12, and 9 with a steal, shooting 56% from the field, 33% from 3. Jamal Murray missed a lot of time, but since he's come back, he's been good. He's averaging 19 and 6 assists while shooting 45% from 3. Michael Porter Jr. is averaging 16 and 7. Aaron Gordon, he's back after missing a few games with the dog incident. He's been good. Reggie Jackson off the bench has been solid. Again, the only thing that really concerns is the bench and how young it is. They've had some moments that are good, they had some bad moments, but I mean, they're still the Denver Nuggets. They're still the reigning champs, and they're still a team that you really have to respect, and that's going to be very hard to beat in a 7-game series. At 5, I have the Milwaukee Bucks. They're 24-9. They're 2nd in the Eastern Conference. They have the 4th best offense, the 20th defense, 6th in net rating. They jumped 2 spots. The Bucks offensively, they're really good. They're 2nd in points per game, 2nd in field goals made, 2nd in field goal percentage, 7th in 3-pointers made, 6th in 3-point percentage, 3rd in free throws made, 3rd in free throw attempts, 4th in pace, 1st in true shooting percentage, 2nd in effective field goal percentage. So offensively, they're still very good. I mean, we have Damian Lillard and Giannis Antetokounmpo. It's not hard to be a great offense. Defensively though, 26 in steals. They're 29th in points off turnovers because they don't force turnovers. 30th in opponent field goal attempts, so they give up the most amount of shots to teams. They're 20th in opponent offensive rebounds, 20th in opponent turnovers. They are 3rd in opponent 3-point percentage though, so they give a lot of threes, but teams don't hit a lot of threes, so they're just like doing that. But I mean, offensively, of course, they're always going to be great. Giannis is having a great season, averaging 31, 11, and 5 with a steal and a block. Dame is starting to get it together. He's averaging 25.5 points, 7 assists. Chris Middleton is starting to pick it up a little bit more. Brook Lopez, Bobby Portis has been good off the bench. Malik Beasley's shooting 47% from 3. But defensively, this team is just not. That's the only thing that makes this team maybe not a contender. Well, they're still a contender because we have Giannis and Dame on the court. You're gonna have a chance to win every game. Obviously, I mean they're two of the top 10, 15 players in the league. So when they're on the court, you're gonna have a chance to win every game. But this Bucks team just not have the same feel as it has in the past few years, where they're like a team that's like, oh yeah, they're probably gonna win a championship or something like that, because their defense is bad. Perimeter defense is bad. Damian Lillard, Malik Beasley, they cannot guard. And if they're gonna have to go into a series where they have to face a guy like a Jalen Brunson or a Tyrese Maxey, something like that, not saying they're gonna lose that series, because they still have players on their own that other teams can't guard. But it's just gonna be very hard to it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard. At 4, we have the Philadelphia 76ers. They're 22-10. They're 3rd in the Eastern Conference. They're the 3rd offense, the 4th defense. They're one of 2 teams that have top 5 offenses and defenses. 2nd in net rating. They jumped 2 spots from last power ranking. 76ers are really good on both ends. All these stats and stuff is just crazy. 5th in points per game, 8th in field goal made, 1st in free throw made, 2nd in free throw attempts, 2nd in free throw percentage. They're 4th in turnovers. They're 1st in steals, 7th in blocks, 5th in true shooting percentage. They're 6th in second chance points, 4th in fast break points, 5th in opponent points off turnovers, 4th in opponent second chance points, 5th in opponent 3-pointers made, 4th in opponent 3-point attempts, 8th in opponent rebounds per game, 2nd in opponent steals per game, 6th in opponent points per game. Those are amazing numbers. Offensively and defensively, they are very good. Joel Embiid having an MVP type year. He might be the front runner MVP right now. He's averaging 35, 11, and 6 with a steal and 2 blocks, shooting 54% from the field and 35% from 3. Those are crazy numbers. He has missed the last few games though, and of course now the rule where you have to play at least 65 games in order to qualify for awards. And Joel right now, he's currently missed I want to say 7 games. Yeah, he's missed 7 games. So he still has a little bit of leeway left, but you can't miss too many. Tyrese Maxey, 26, 4 and 6.5 assists, shooting 45% from the field, 38% from 3. He's been amazing. Probably the most improved player of the year award is his right now to lose. Tobias Harris has been very solid for them. Kelly Oubre is back, and he's playing well. D'Anthony Melton, I really love what he's done for the Sixers. Guys like Nick Batum, Paul Reed, Pat Bev, Robert Covington, they've come in and made some good plays. This is a great Sixers team. This might be honestly the best Sixers team that has been put together around Joel Embiid since he's been, the guy. Maybe of course you can consider the Jimmy Butler, Tobias Harris, that team. That was a good team with JJ Redick and them. Even a few years ago when they lost to the Hawks in the conference finals, that was a good team as well. That team should have made the conference finals with Ben Simmons. If they didn't have a bad series, Ben and Joel and stuff like that. But this team, man, they're a dangerous team. They're a really dangerous team, especially when Joel's on the court. They have lost a couple games because again Joel Embiid hasn't played in a little while. But when Joel and Tyrese Maxey are on the court and this team is doing their thing, man, they're a very tough team. I really like this Sixers team a lot better than the last few years. And yeah, I'm just saying, man, if they go into a series against Milwaukee and Boston, it's gonna be good ones. At number 3, we have the Oklahoma City Thunder. They are 22-9. They're 2nd in the Western Conference. They have the 6th best offense, the 2nd best defense, 3rd in net rating. They stay the same from last power ranking. The OKC Thunder are really good. Offensively, they're 4th in points per game, 3rd in field goals made, 3rd in field goal percentage, 1st in 3-point percentage, 1st in free throw percentage, 3rd in true shooting percentage, 4th in effective field goal percentage. They are efficient shooting the ball. They are efficient shooting the ball. They're also they're 7th in pace. They're 7th in points in the paint. So do that. The only thing, rebounding, they're not good. They're the worst offensive rebounding team. They're 20th in rebounds per game. They're also 20th in second chance points, which makes a lot of sense. But after that, this team offensively they're really good. Defensively they're really good as well. They're 4th in steals, 1st in blocks per game. They're 1st in points off turnovers. So they turn the ball over, they get turnovers, and they score a lot on that. They're 2nd in opponent fast break points, so teams are not scoring fast break points on them. 2nd in opponent points in the paint, even though they are a smaller team. Chet Holmgren has been down there causing havoc to other guys down low. They're 3rd in opponent field goals made, 1st in opponent field goal percentage. They do give up a lot of threes though. 29th in opponent 3-point attempts. But they're also 1st in opponent turnovers. So again, they 1st in opponent points off turnovers because they force a lot of turnovers. They force turnovers most in the league. But yeah, this Thunder team, they're really good, and they're really fun to watch, man. Shea is officially in the MVP race, 31, 5, and 7 with 2.6 steals, shooting 54% from the field. J-Dub, really good as well, averaging 18, 4, and 4, 51% shooting, 41% from 3. Shea Honko might be Rookie of the Year right now, averaging 17, 7, and 2 with 2.7 blocks, shooting 54% from the field and 40% from 3. Lou Dort shooting 42% from 3. Isaiah Joe shooting 42% from 3. They have like 7 or 8 players shooting 40% from 3, bro. Like, that's crazy. Like, J-Dub shooting 41%, Chet shooting 40%, Lou Dort shooting 42%, Isaiah Joe shooting 42%, Casey Wallace is shooting 43%, Kenneth Williams shooting 46%, Aaron Wiggins is shooting 48%, Davis Bertans is shooting 43%. Of course, not all those guys play all the time, all these minutes, but still, like, they're efficient shooting. But like, there's only like what, 2 players, Jalen Williams, the other Jalen Williams, Davis Bertans, Micic. They're the only guys that shoot under like 44% from the field. Everyone else shooting at least 45, 44, 45, even higher. They have 5 players shooting over 50% from the field. So yeah, they're shooting the ball efficiently. They're shooting the nets off the rim right now. And defensively, they're gonna lock down as well. This team might have to be a contender. I think the only thing that stops us from not putting them in the contender range is their age and their experience. None of these guys have been in a spot like this before. That's the only reason. But besides that, I mean, this team is going to be very hard to beat. At number 2, we have the Minnesota Timberwolves. They are 24-8, number 1 in the Western Conference. They have the 19th offense, the best defense, first defense, 5th in net rating. They say the same in the power rankings. Yeah, when you look at their numbers offensively, they don't look like a crazy team, you know? They're 26th in field goals made, 30th in field goal attempts. They take the least amount of shots, but they're 6th in field goal percentage. They're 4th in three-point percentage. Kind of similar to like the Clippers thing, where they don't take a lot of shots, but when they do take shots, they make them. They're not like a high-powered, putting up 127 points type of offense, but, you know, their defense is so good that their offense doesn't have to do that, you know? They're 27th in offensive rebounds per game, so they're not doing that, which is random, but they're 4th in defensive rebounds. You know, they're 20th in turnovers, which is another big thing why their offense isn't great, is because they turn the ball over a lot. They're 7th in true shooting percentage, though, 8th in effective field goal percentage, so they do that. But defensively, this is where they hang their hat. 6th in blocks per game, 4th in opponent fast break points. So even though they turn the ball over a lot, they're not giving up a lot of fast break points. They're 7th in opponent points in the paint. Shout out to Rudy Gobert. 2nd in opponent field goals made. 2nd in opponent field goal percentage. 3rd in opponent three-pointers made. 5th in opponent three-point attempts. 5th in opponent three-point percentage. 2nd in opponent defensive rebounds per game. 3rd in opponent rebounds per game. 4th in opponent assists per game. And 1st in opponent points per game. They give up the least amount of points a game. So yeah, defensively, they're a juggernaut on that end. Anthony Edwards has been great, averaging 26, 5, and 5 with a steal, shooting 45% from the field and 38% from 3. Cat has had his up and down moments, but he's still shooting 50, 40, and almost 90, while averaging 21 points per game. Rudy Gobert, right now, is probably the defensive player of the year, averaging 12 and 12 with 2 blocks. Naz Reid off the benches, averaging 12 points, shooting 50% from the field and almost 40%. He's almost shooting 50, 40, 90 as well. Mike Conley's been a very solid vet. Jaden McDaniels is back, and he's playing really well. Their bench is really good. This is a really, really good Minnesota Timberwolves team, man. This is a really good team. I mean, defensively, when you can lock up like they can defensively, it's going to be a very hard team to beat anyways. And the thing is, offensively, their numbers don't look crazy, but you look on paper, they have guys that, I mean, Anthony Edwards, Karl Anthony Towns, Mike Conley. Now, like, they have guys that offensively can light up. Anthony Edwards can go have a 40-point game. Karl Anthony Towns can have a 30-something point game. Mike Conley can hit a couple of threes. Jaden McDaniels can have a 20-point game. You know, Naz Reid can have a 20-point game off the bench. You know, like, they have guys like that can light up offensively. And defensively, they're just amazing. So, yeah, this team, man, this team is really, really good. You got to, man, this team might be a contender as well. I mean, defensively, they're so good. Like, it's just, it's really hard to beat them. And number 1, to absolutely nobody's surprise at all, we have the Boston Celtics at 26-6. Number 1 in the East, best record in the NBA. They're 2nd offensively, 3rd defensively, 1st in net rating. They say the same from last time. The Celtics are a good team. They're the team to beat. The team stats, 6th in points per game. They shoot a lot of threes. 1st in three-pointers made and three-pointers attempted. They're 1st in rebounding. They're 5th in blocks. 2nd in personal fouls, so they don't foul a lot. 4th in true shooting percentage. 3rd in effective field goal percentage. They do that. Defensively, they're still good too. 1st in opponent points off turnovers. So they're not giving up points off turnovers. 5th in opponent fast break points. 4th in opponent points in the paint. 3rd in opponent field goal percentage. 1st in opponent free throws made and free throws attempted and free throw percentage. So they're not giving up free throws. Not giving up easy ones. 3rd in opponent assists. 1st in opponent blocks. 4th in opponent points per game. Yeah, this is the best team in the NBA. You know, they have 3 players averaging 20. The Jays are doing great. Porzingis is doing their thing when he's healthy. Derek White is having people chanting All-Star, you know, at the games with them. Jrue Holiday's been very solid. Al Horford has done his thing. Payne Pritchard, Sam Hauser, you know, when they come in the game, like this is a great team. This is the team to beat. I don't see many teams beating this team in a 7-game series. You know, like they're just built. They're built to win it. They're built to win the championship. That's what they are. They're built to win the NBA championship, and if they don't, then, you know, either injuries happened or I don't know. I don't know how this team doesn't really win, honestly. Like, this is a team that's very tough to beat. It's not saying it's impossible. Obviously, nothing's impossible. But, I mean, this is a very hard team to beat in a 7-game series with the roster they have. But yeah, it's going to be it for today for the power rankings. Hope you guys enjoyed. It's another very long video, but all these power rankings, I assume probably all these power rankings are going to be like hour-long videos because I talk a lot. But yeah, it's going to be it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, if you like the content, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications, do also like that. I'd really appreciate it. We have done a lot. Yeah, and I'll see you guys, you know, tomorrow.